Hi, welcome to Yarning at the Homestead. My name is Tammy, and I am also known as Gracie's Goodies here on YouTube and on Instagram. So if you would like to get in touch with me, I am graciesgoodies@gmail.com. So welcome back if you're a returning viewer, and hi if you are stopping by for the first time. Hey, I am coming to you from the small state of Connecticut on the eastern coast of the United States. I live up in a very rural area in the northwest corner of Connecticut. Yeah, we've been talking about selling. We'll get to that. So hi. So this is episode 32, and it's been about 3 weeks since I've uploaded the previous episode. And yeah, that's been happening. Number one is I finished my Radiate. Yay! So I'm going to stand for just a second. I have sweatpants on underneath. So yes, here's my Radiate. It is perfect. I love it. It comes down to the length I like it to be. My arms, the sleeves are a little bit bigger than I would like. It's kind of like I got bat wings. And I had the sleeves at exactly the number of stitches. So maybe next time I will go down in needle size. I am a super loose knitter, so I always automatically go down in needle size. And I tend to get gauge with that if I do a gauge swatch. And it is a little wider up here than I thought it would be, but I'm good with it. So I've thought about, so in the pattern, she says to knit 17 inches before you start the cuff. Well, I measured my arm. My arm's only 15 inches long. So I knit to 15 inches, started the cuff, but I think I should have gone maybe another inch or 2 inches on the cuff before. And you can see it's pretty wide. I've worn it. I did not block it. I don't know if I'm going to block it because it is superwash and I don't want it to grow. Except for maybe the length in the sleeves, but you really can't control that when you're blocking. I guess I could. I mean, if I pinned it all out, but here's the thing. I don't really have a space. I do have a space to pin it out. I have an extra bed. I also have cats who like to lay on things. So I don't know. It may get blocked, it may not get blocked. Who knows? I don't really care. I love it. I've worn it. Today's my 3rd day wearing it. And yay. Yay for me. I finished a sweater. Yay. Now I'll just to finish some of the others that I have started. So let's talk about those. So I started a sweater. I had no intentions of ever making this sweater. The Ranunculus by... I will put it in the down bar. I don't remember her name off the top of my head. Oh, wait a minute. I have the pattern right here. So the Ranunculus by Midori Hirose. I think it's pronounced Hirose. It's so funny because I watch a podcast, Big Little Knits, Big Knits, something like that. And she's in Canada. Excuse me. She's in Canada and she's made several ranunculuses. And I was never drawn to the pattern. I know that a ton of people have made it. I've just never drawn to the pattern. But then on Instagram, I saw somebody that I know joined a class of one of my local yarn stores. And it was a 4-Saturday class. It wasn't too expensive. And I'm like, sure, why not? And I had some mohair because I had bought this mohair. I bought 3 skeins of this from Comfy Cozy Knits. She had posted on Instagram that she was selling all of her mohair, clearance kind of, because she realized she's allergic to it, so she's no longer dyeing it. So I bought 3 skeins of this, pretty neutral caramel-y like color. So I said, okay. So I had 3 skeins of that. So then I had to look for a fingering weight. And since I was taking it at that LYS, I wanted to at least have something that maybe I had bought there. And I did have a skein of the Farmer's Daughter. So here's the end of the first skein here. So the Farmer's Daughter, and this is the Farmer's Daughter Foxy Lady. It's 70% marine, superwash merino, 30% silk, and Whiskey Butte is the colorway. So I checked their website. They had a couple more skeins, so I bought it online and I joined the class and I just asked them to hold on to the yarn until Saturday when I was going to come for the class, and then so they did. So I have two more skeins of it. So I'm still on. I am in section right now 4. I don't know how many sections there are, but I'm in section 4 because I'm a bigger girl. I have there's an addendum for the bigger people. It doesn't actually go in the pattern, and she hasn't done like the yarn requirements for the bigger numbers and stuff. Whatever. Anyway, are you ready? I think some stitches got pulled out, but that's okay. Here we go. That is how far I am on my ranunculus. I have 4 more rows, and then I have, so I have 8 more rows, and then I'm going to be splitting for the sleeves. Okay. So although we've already put in stitch markers for where the sleeves are going to be. So yeah, so I'm actually really happy with it. I really like the color. It's not a color I own, really. I don't really own anything in this color. So I think it'll be a really good actual neutral color for me. I wear a lot of gray, so I think this will look great with gray or with like a teal underneath, that pop of color. So yeah, so I'm pretty excited about it. So this is what I've been focusing on right now to finish up. The class is done. It was only 4 weeks. I actually missed a week because I was sick one Saturday. So the class is done and I'm just working on it. So yeah, so I never plan on making a ranunculus, but here it is. And so I got these baskets at like Michael's a couple years ago, and they're great for just sticking a project in. I have it on the side of my bed and I can just pull it up. My cats are really good. My cats do not get into my yarn. They don't. The only time that the yarn attracts them is if like I'm knitting on the bed and they're next to me and the yarn is moving, and then it attracts them. Other than that, they could care less. They never get into my yarn. So that's the only work in progress I'm actually going to show because I have so many, and the only things I've really been working on is the ranunculus and the Radiate to finish them up. But yeah, so I'm very excited. Yeah. So that should be done. I'm hoping I don't have much to do this weekend. I'm sure I'll get to splitting for the sleeves after this is done. After I finish podcasting, that's what I'm going to do. Go back and work on splitting for the sleeves and getting onto the body. I am going to make it longer. I have 2 more skeins of the Mohair, and I have 2 more skeins of the Farmer's Daughter. So that should be good. I'm not making it long sleeves. I'm probably only going to come to about here because I do want it. It's just going to be an overpiece. So yeah, excited about that. And then I printed off a bunch of patterns for some other things. We'll see. All right, so let's talk. So that's my finished object, and that's my in progress that I'm actually working on. So let's talk Rhinebeck. So Rhinebeck was back, and I headed out to Rhinebeck on Sunday with my friend Maureen and a newer friend, Karen. Hi, Karen, because Karen watches the podcast. And Karen, it was Karen's first time at Rhinebeck. She had never gone before, so she asked if she could come, and we're like, sure, come on. And she volunteered to drive. I always do the drive. It's about a 2-hour drive from here, but she volunteered to drive because she has a van, and I got a teeny tiny little car. So it was a much more comfortable ride. And since I've actually health-wise not been feeling the greatest, it was actually good that somebody else was driving. So yeah, so I think she really enjoyed herself, and we had fun. I mean, I think we saw pretty much everything. It was really not crowded at all on Sunday, and that was one of the reasons we went on Sunday, because Maureen is going to be a grandmother again, and so her daughter was due like in 3 days. I haven't heard anything, so I don't know if she had the baby yet. Her daughter was like due in sometime this past week, So she didn't want to go someplace where there might be a ton of people. But from what I understand, they were capping it at 10,000. And on the Facebook post, the lady that ran the Rhinebeck Facebook post said that she would let us know, hey, when they've sold 10,000 tickets. And she never did. So I don't think they actually got to 10,000 people even on Saturday. And I know a lot of people they bought the tickets and they chose at the last minute not to go. Either they were exposed to somebody with COVID, or they weren't feeling well, or they just decided, hey, maybe this isn't the best time. So yeah, it was really nice. I actually went with a list. Look at this. Here's my list. So what was on my list? What was on my list? I wanted soap, sheep inserts, yarn for my Telja sweater, and a sweater bag. Those are my 4 things that I wanted, and those were on my list. And then I popped in some vendors that I really did want to stop and see, just in case. So I did stop and see all of these vendors, and I'll talk about them in a minute. And I did get my yarn for my Telja at the very last minute, and I did get my sheep inserts, so I'll talk about those right now. So I have these great slippers from LL Bean that my spouse bought me several years ago, and they're lifelong. Like you shouldn't have to replace them. However, the insides have gotten worn down, so I wanted an insert for the inside. So yeah, I got an insert for the inside, a wool insert. So I had stopped at Fin Sheep because I knew that they had done inserts in the past. You have to trace your foot and send it to them, which I was fine with doing. But then I ran into the booth of a friend of a friend. I had visited her booth 2 years ago. The last time Rhinebeck was in person. And my friend had been actually at the booth helping her out. It was her first time at Rhinebeck. And so I said, you know what, I'd like to, support a friend of a friend. So I bought the inserts from her. She makes them, they're felted wool. And so, yeah. And plus, she's kind of local-ish. So if I need to replace them, I can. I know who I can get in touch with to do that. So, yay. All right, so one of the other vendors I wanted to stop by was 3 Bags Full. I really like 3 Bags Full. So Gesso Lou's bags were there also, but I have a ton of Gesso Lou bags. I'll actually point out in a few minutes. And I really wanted a sweater bag. And yes, I have. So I was saying, I don't have any sweater bags. I do have sweater bags. They're just full of yarn, waiting for those sweaters to be knit. So actually there's one right here. I don't know if it's quite a sweater bag, but it does have yarn in it for a summer top. Yeah. So this yarn is waiting to be knit for a summer top. And so, yeah. So this bag is full. All of my sweater bags are full. So I wanted a new sweater bag. So I did. I got a sweater bag. Look at this sweater bag. This one, it was down at the bottom, and Karen had actually picked it up, and she was showing me the print. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I love that print. So yeah, look at that print. Isn't that the most awesome print? Kitty cats are knitting. Kitty cats. There's a little doggy. But kitty cats and doggies. And then there is, it's mostly kitty cats and doggies. And then there's some birds. You can hear my bird right now. So this is fantastic. So what you can do is, it's actually a detachable zipper. So you can take the zipper off and you can open it up like a bucket. And it's got 1, 2, 3, 6 pockets inside. I'll show you inside. It's got 6 pockets with a coordinating fabric inside. And I love it. So I love it. I do have a little bit of trouble getting the zipper back together and then zip back up, but that's just me. And maybe it just needs to get oiled or something. So I don't know if that's a thing to oil your zippers. I heard a cat. There's a cat in here. So, oh, look at that. It worked perfectly. So in here is my yarn for my Telja. So Telja is Telja is a pattern by Jennifer Steinglass. Yes, I think it's Steinglass. And it's Love Knit Wool, I think is her handle. Anyway, I have several of her sweater patterns. I've bought several of her sweater patterns, and I actually have the yarn for Winter Soul. And I have the exact yarn. I believe that she made it in different colors, but the exact yarn. But Telja, I have had this pattern for a couple of years. To me, the yoke looks like, I can get it up really quick, and I'm sure you can look it up too. But the yoke looks like the old Christmas balls they used to hang on your tree. So I wanted to make it as a Christmas sweater. So I've been looking for the yarn for it for about 2 years now. And I looked all around and I knew I didn't want the body of the sweater to be red. I wanted it to be like a burgundy red, like a deeper, because I wanted that old timey antique type feeling to it. And so, let me see. Oh, here's a good, you can see the yoke. Let's see if you can see that. It's kind of getting blown out. I don't know if you can see it. Oh, right there. Can you see that? So you see how it's like the long ornaments that we used to have as kids that hung on our trees? Anyway, so the body is going, I wanted it to be a deep red. And then I wanted what's silver on here to be silver, or white that's on here to be silver. And then I was going to do pops of gold, green, and blue. So the very last booth that I went to was Feederbrook Farm. And I went in because my friend Maureen is a fan of theirs. And she had actually, that was like the first booth she stopped at. She bought her yarn first thing. And they have like a barber pole yarn that everybody's crazy about right now. Can't think of the dyer that does it, that like a ton of sweaters are being made and it has this dyer in the yoke. I'm very, very sorry. My health has not been the best and my brain fog has been really bad. It'll come to me. Anyway, so they have that barber pole too, and it's not quite so expensive. Anyway, so she was stopping by the booth again on our way out. We were on our way out, and so it was the last booth and as I'm going into the booth, I see this yarn, and I've wound it into balls right now. I see this yarn. You see that? And it's a deep red, and it's got a sparkle. Oh my God, what more could you ask for in a Christmas sweater? So this is gonna be my body, and it's like a deep, it's kind of hard to see. It's much deeper than what's showing up on my camera. Anyway, and then my yoke is actually going to be gold. It's going to be gold. Can you see that gold? It's a lot of fuzz on these because she's a farm. You see that endless sparkle? And then my pops of color are going to be this Christmas green color. Look at that. And then I've got silver. And I'm waiting to get one more color. She didn't have another color that I really wanted. And she said she would dye me another color. So I looked on her website and I thought I wanted a blue, but she has like that fuchsia color that they used to use in those Christmas ornaments. So I might get that fuchsia color. So we'll see. And it was really nice of her because I actually only pay in cash. And I had my credit card, but her credit card machine was down. And I didn't have quite enough cash. I thought I had, but I had spent cash on this, and that was a little bit more than I thought. It wasn't more than I thought. I knew the price when I bought it, but I forgot that I had a bunch of 50s. I forgot that I used a 50 on it. And so when I went to buy the yarn, I was short of 50. She let me come home and PayPal her the money. Hey. So anyway, I PayPal'd her the money when I got home that Sunday. And then I asked her about dyeing the other skein of yarn, and I'm giving her, obviously time to get home, get unpacked, and all that other stuff. So I haven't heard from her yet, but I think it's in my other email, and I have to check that email. So anyway, so I got my yarn from my Telja, I got my sheep inserts, and I got my sweater bag, and I got soap. I did buy soap from, I don't remember who I bought the soap from. I bought 3 bars of soap. I've bought the soap from this person before. So yeah, everything I wanted to get, that's what I got. I don't really think I got much more. I sound like one of my third graders. Nope. You can see, here's my yarn. I was pretty good. I kept 2. I think the only other thing I purchased was this from Finsheet because it was so cute. And they had a whole bunch of rainbow ones. They had them with different colors on the sides. But so I bought him from Finsheet. I think that is it. I think that's all I bought. So I was really good. I stayed to my list. I had brought the money. I paid cash for everything. I didn't charge anything except when I got home and had to send that extra money through PayPal. That was it. I was done. And Rhinebeck was great. I ran into Justin and Caleb from the Bearded Pearl, which was really cool. I got a picture with Justin. I will post that. Caleb was talking to somebody when we took the picture, so he's not in the picture, unfortunately. But I also, Justin and Caleb were walking around with Michelle from, oh my gosh, something in Nosh. See, my brain not working right now. But let's do some other acquisitions. So Michelle, actually, right before I went to Rhinebeck on Friday, I received her advent calendar. Woolens and Nosh. I got her advent calendar. Very excited about it. So let me pop this up and show you. Sitting over here in the box. So I did open it. Quick view. But it's really nicely packaged. Look at this. So Woolens and Nosh Advent 2021 Advent skein. So it's not like the whole calendar, it's a skein. And so you pop this out, and then you have a mini skein here, and you have some goodies down here, which I've not opened up. And then in this nice little bag, look at that. We have our skeins. And I'm not going to show you the skeins so I don't ruin it. But they are, which I really super appreciate, wound into 2 balls. So there. So I met Michelle, who I've actually been following for quite a while. And I bought several skeins of hers. So that was cool that I ran into. I saw Jason. You know, it's funny. I saw Justin's sweater. And it's bright green. And that took my attention. And I was in, I don't know what barn it is. It's the one it's got 2 floors. And I was standing outside waiting for my friends. And then I saw that sweater, and then I realized it was Justin. And so I went scurrying after them, and they were like walking down the hill. And finally I got close enough and went, "Hi, Caleb and Justin, I just followed you here." So I was kind of like stalking them. And then Michelle, I didn't recognize her at first. I'm like, "You look familiar." And they said, "Oh, this is Michelle from Woolens and Nosh." I'm like, "I just got your advent skein." And so, yeah, it was nice. It was nice. So I did get a picture with Michelle and Justin. And it was super nice. I also I went to Cece's Wool booth to see if maybe any Lola Bean was left. And there was Lola Bean left. But I didn't purchase any because I do have quite a bit of Lola Bean. I actually have 2 sweaters worth. Yeah, I got 2 sweaters worth. One is really t-shirt worth. It's summer t-shirt worth. And one is sweaters worth. So I didn't buy any more Lola Bean. And I ran into Vincent from Vesuvius Knits. He is a tall man. So I will put these pictures in. Actually, maybe, yeah, I'll put these pictures in at the end. I don't know how to cut and put pictures in. I might be able to do that. We'll see. Anyway, so I ran into Vincent. He was super nice. And he had a tapestry bag, and he's in Knit Star 6, and he's one of the reasons I actually purchased Knit Star 6. It was Vincent, Jeanette Sloan, and Casapinka. Those were the 3 that I really wanted classes from. So those 3 are in Knit Star 6. So yeah, that should be, I thought that started in October. I have to look up and see when those classes, it's a virtual class, so you can take it anytime. But I have to look and see. I know that they were doing a preview this past week, so maybe I think they were doing a preview trying to sell some more spots, and then maybe it starts. I don't know. I have to look. I'm really bad at that. Yeah, I am really bad at it. I'm making really weird faces today. Anyway, not the end of my purchases. So then I saw something. I saw an advertisement from sock company, the knitting sock company, oh my gosh, Simply Sock company. Okay, and I really liked it. It was a set, and I really liked the bag, so that's why I bought it. And the yarn, I looked at, I'm like, but you know what? When I got the yarn, I really liked the yarn. So this is the yarn. It's from Fiber Story. You see that? I really like that. It's so autumnally, and it's called Boolicious. Boolicious. I really like that. Okay, so I loved the bag, and that's the reason I bought this set. Look at this bag. There's spooky cupcakes. Cupcake with an eyeball. I freaking love cupcakes. Love cupcakes. I cannot turn down a cupcake. Well, unless it's a kid who brings it in and said they made it, because you can't be sure. Like my friend, her one of her students brought in a cupcake the other day, but she carried it in her hand, and COVID things, yeah, it wasn't like in a container or anything. So she's like, I don't really want to eat it, which I don't blame her. So yeah, so I loved the bag, and then when I got it, I loved the yarn. So you also got, with this set, you got some washable tags from Katrinkles, which is kind of cool, and some darning needles or tapestry needles or whatever you want to call them, which are always useful. And then inside you got sprinkles. I had a sprinkle donut this morning with these kind of sprinkles. Yes, I did. Anyway, so I really liked it. I really liked the yarn. So actually, when it came in, I wanted to wind it right away, but I didn't, because we'll talk about this in a minute. Because of the wonderful things he does. And then I watched Jude. His name is now Jude. You may know him previously as Amy Florence of Stranded. And Jude came out on National Coming Out Day, which was, I guess, last week, the week before, that he is transgender. This has been my life for the past 2 years. So, I lent some support, and yay. I think it's wonderful. I do. I personally think it's wonderful that people are feeling free enough and loved enough and supported enough to come out and say, this is me. This is who I am. That's wonderful. And Jude is an only child, and his parents are going to support him, because the Stranded Elf is fabulous, and that's fabulous. My perspective is as a spouse, and having been married for 28 years to one gender, and now being married to another gender. And it wasn't just her coming out, it was my coming out too. And my only two choices were stay and figure out how to live this new life, or leave. And she has even said it, my spouse's name is Laura Hope, and she has even said it, and she's actually said it, she was talking to me about her recent therapy group, and how there was somebody in therapy who was upset with their ex-wife, because she had told the person that transitioned that it was very inconvenient. And my spouse said, it is inconvenient. You are flipping somebody's life upside down, and they have two choices. There's not a lot of choices the spouses have. And when I first started going through this process with my spouse, there wasn't a lot of support either. I found more support. I know several people now who are also the spouses of transgendered people. And there was a therapy group I was meeting with. It stopped for the summer and it hasn't really started up yet. And there were like 6 of us in that group. So yeah, so I think there's getting to be more acknowledgement of that. And I'm super happy for the people that are coming out, feeling themselves, saying, hey, this is who I am. When those people have a spouse and a family there, I think of those people too. Because no matter who they are, and I guess, I got a lot of pushback. There's a Reddit forum about this, and I got a lot of pushback about it. But the reality is that I'm never going to be, well, no, I didn't say this on the Reddit format. I love my spouse, but it's difficult at times. And then there's some other things on top of that. And maybe I'm going to edit this out. Maybe I'm being too open with this. But sometimes I think I need to be open because you do need to be open about these things. Because if you don't, then it's always still in the secret and hush hush. And that's not the way I live my life. I'm very open about my life. So anyway, if you have any questions about it, you can PM me if you don't want to put a comment down below. Anyway, and then so Stranded actually had some of his Christmas yarn. At that point, she was still going of his Christmas yarn from this year, and I'm like, holy tololi! I was gonna swear there. Holy shit! You can never get her yarn, and yeah, I knew that the shipping was gonna be just as much as the yarn, but it was what it was. I still can't get last year's color, which is pretty awesome. Gingerbread House, Haus, German. But I got this year's color. So this year's color is called Popcorn Garland. Sorry, I didn't take it out of this. I don't even know how to take it out of this. It's a weird cellophane bag. Look, I can't even rip it. Oh my goodness. I can't tell where there's a sticky. There it is. Trying to open up the wrong end that doesn't actually open. Remember? Brain. So here we go. Look at that. Look at that. That's so Christmassy. So pretty. So pretty. So yeah, so my first skein of Stranded. I'm very, very happy. I've been following Stranded for years and I've never been able to get a skein. Well, I could. There were skeins available. It just wasn't something I wanted. Some of the colors I didn't want. And then I don't know if I showed this, but from Comfy Cozy Knits, which I got the Mohair from, I also had bought a Halloween colorway. This is Haunted. And there was a mini skein to go with it. So I bought that. So what else have I bought for acquisitions? I decided that Radiate is in this Interpretations Volume 4. And there is also this sweater in here called Little Bird. And this one's by Vera Valimaki. And it's lace. Yeah, lace. Anyway, I think it's pretty. I think it'll be a great overpiece. And so I was looking at it and I realized, I thought at first because they made this out of Madeline Tosh Prairie and I thought I had enough prairie. I didn't. But I realized that I had this, which is also a lace, which is like, oh my gosh, so soft. Lacy Lamb by, who's this by? Jade Sapphire, or something like that. Lacy Lamb. Okay, so I'm getting new glasses because I can't really read with these ones. So they're on their way in, but like I can't read. Jade Sapphire, yeah, Jade Sapphire Exotic Fibers, and it is. Can I read what it is? Nope, Anyway, it's approximately 620 something, and it's 100% extra fine lamb's wool. I think that's what it says. Anyway, so I looked around to see, because the one skein was not going to be enough because I'm a big girl. And a local yarn store actually had them on sale, had this exact stuff on sale. So they had 3 of them. So I ordered 3 of them. And then I find out, I'm like, it's like a week later, I'm like, I still get that yarn, and it's coming from Connecticut, and we're in a teeny tiny little state. So I checked my email, because I have an email that I don't check very often, and it used to be on my phone, and then there was an issue, and it ended up getting taken off my phone. I can't get it back on my phone now for some reason. So I gotta check it on my computer, and I just never check it. And they had made a mistake on the website, and they only had 2 skeins of it. So I sent an email, said, okay, 2 skeins would be fine. They sent me the 2 skeins, and then they never credited me the other skein. So then I had to call them and said, listen, you only sent me 2. You charged me for 3. I need a credit. So I know that obviously the lots are going to be different, but I'm okay with that. It looks like the lot that I have, the one that I have is a little bit darker than the ones from them. But that's okay. I think it'll blend really well. And it's textured, so I don't think it'll be too bad. I don't know if I'll do... And the color name had changed, too. The color name had changed from... They're calling it... I don't know what this one was called, but it wasn't lime, but it's now called lime. So, I don't know. Anyway, so I got that. Oh my God, it feels so nice. So that is all for my purchases, I'm pretty sure. The only other thing I wanted to show is my friend got me a mug for my birthday. Lie flat to dry. She thought it was hysterical. She actually went into a yarn store when she was traveling across the country. They travel across the country almost every summer. They go up to North Dakota, and then they just do traveling. She stopped at a yarn store to buy me a birthday gift. My birthday's in August. She didn't buy me yarn, but she bought me a mug. I'm very happy. My spouse is not happy when I get new mugs. Oh, and I forgot. Wee Ones, which is the other place I was going to stop, had made shirts for Rhinebeck. So can you see it? Happiness on the hill at Rhinebeck, a warm cider donuts, and a bag. And bags of yarn. So yeah. So she has them. You can order them. She also has them. I'll see her at New England, Fiber Festival of New England in 2 weeks, which is the first week of November. I'll see her there. Okay, so that is it. Acquisitions, what I'm making. So let's talk this. So next week, or the end of this week, is Halloween, but then it is El Dia de los Muertos. Now, my great-great-grandmother, so my grandmother's grandmother, was from Mexico. Her name was Isabel. I think it's Echo. All the documents we have, her last name is Echo, Echo. And she was from the Chihuahua region in Mexico. And the family lore is that she was Mayan, that she was of Mayan descent, or Mayan Indian. Whether that's true or not, that's our family lore. And my DNA results actually say that I have Native American it's not a ton, it's 6%. Native American, I think it's 6%, 6 or 8%. But it's / Native American / Mexican. So I don't know exactly what that means. So it could be true. We could have Mayan. I don't know. So, but I definitely have some Mexican heritage. And I've always kind of known this, and I have embraced it, but I decided this year that I would embrace El Dia de los Muertos. And I pulled out all of my El Dia de los Muertos type things. I went shopping for some things. I have a bag, as you can see it here from Just So Lou, that has, the skulls on it. And this has, what's this? Oh, so this yarn here was, I won an Instagram giveaway a couple years ago from, I think it's the Wool Baron in England. And it was a Frida Kahlo giveaway. So in here is yarn from the Wool Baron for, that's Frida. it was inspired by Frida Kahlo. So she had made some socks, which are really cool socks. There's no pattern for them, but she told me how she did it. So I'm gonna eventually make the socks with this yarn. So that's my, and I have my zombies over here. But I bought this, and I have a skein of yarn in it. I already had that skull, and then this came with the Frida Kahlo giveaway. And then I have a candle. I have a skull water glass, drink glass. These are really good. Now, I get it. It's not all stuff that I bought from Mexican artists. I get it. I understand that. I try to when I can. But I saw a lot of these things and I just really liked them. So I bought them. And I figured I have them. And I even bought a kitty cat. There's a kitty cat here too. And a lot of this stuff came from Michael's, which I understand. I get. I have 2 flower crowns. One came with the Frida Kahlo stuff, and one I bought. And then I have all my like Halloween-y type yarn back there. And this, I had done a yarn advent last year from Teeny Button, and I haven't used it yet. So I pulled those out. The only thing I can't find is I have a pair of socks that I'd started, and then I ripped them all out. And they're called Faces in the Wallpaper, Haunted House on the Haunted Hill, that one. It was inspired by that. And they're really cool, and they look like little ghostly faces, but I can't find the bag with that yarn in it right now. So I got this bag too. I do like the skulls. I think skulls are cool. But anyway, I was at Michael's and I just bought a whole bunch of, they had these all on sale. And I bought a bunch of these little kits. And it's new stuff. So like this is a felt ornament kit. New stuff to do. I also bought some bigger skulls and some smaller skulls to make some jewelry. I thought I was going to do it for this year. I doubt I'm going to have it done for this year. I have previously made skull jewelry. Let me show you. See? I made these earrings. And I wear them. And then I also got with the Frida Kahlo giveaway. No, I don't think I got these. No, my friend got me these in Mexico. So these are bottle caps. She got them from a Mexican artist. So these are actually from Mexico and a Mexican artist. My friend used to go back and forth to Mexico. Her children are part Mexican. And she used to go to this artist's market. I'm sorry, I'm chewing the candy. And she knew how much I liked different type of jewelry. So she got me those. I have earrings and a necklace made out of dried fish scales, and some other things. So those are actually from Mexico. I've only been to Mexico once. I was in San Diego. We went down for the day I was visiting my uncle, and we went down for the day, and I bought a silver bracelet while I was there. But let me just grab this back because it got pushed over and I just pulled my sweater. So I also bought some other little newish type crafts to try. So there's some embroidery. These were all like 50% off, so I said, why not? I'll try them. Felt doll kit. So I got a bunch of these. There's several different versions, so I'm not gonna pull them all out. I got another embroidery and crochet. Whoop. I think that is it, because the rest are like the dolls, the different dolls. So I thought that was kind of cool, and I just bought them because, you know, something new to try out. And then I got a pumpkin. Give thanks, but it's like a sweater. See that? So I'm gonna put that up. And hello, sweater weather. I gotta put those up. Well, I'll probably put those up after I take down the El Dia de los Muertos things. Do I speak Spanish? No. Can I say some phrases in Spanish? Yes. Can I follow a conversation in Spanish? If they speak very slowly. Yes. Can I actually converse in Spanish? No. I can say some things in Spanish. And I can usually, like, some of my parents only speak Spanish. Some of my students' parents only speak Spanish. And I can usually comprehend what they're trying to say to me. But we have plenty of people in the building who speak Spanish. So if I really need to have an in-depth conversation with a parent, we have people who can translate for us, which is nice. That's it. This is pretty long, 45 minutes. It's going to take me forever to upload this sucker. All right. So I hope you have a wonderful week. If you celebrate Halloween, I hope your Halloween is fun and festive. We get absolutely nada children. Nada niños. Because we live so far off the road. So I'm going to stay on Friday. Our school PTA is doing a trunk and treat for our students. So the 3rd grade team is going to put together a trunk. And so I'm going to stay on Friday, and that'll be my Halloween. So I hope you have a great rest of this weekend. This probably won't go up till sometime Sunday. And I hope you have a great week. Oh, and I was just going to say, I did get some more news about my health. I have actually been diagnosed with scoliosis now. It's a pretty severe curvature on the bottom of my spine. So now looks like I'm going to be getting injections in my back for that pain. More injections. So yeah, I'm just on the beginnings of that journey. So I was diagnosed with scoliosis when I was a teenager, and then really nothing was ever said of it, and nothing was ever done for it. So I just assumed I grew out of it, because I know that a lot of times teenagers during puberty are diagnosed with scoliosis and they grow out of it, but I guess I did not. And yeah, it's a pretty severe curvature. But we shall see. All right. So I will talk to you again. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please give me a like. Please give me a comment. Yeah. And I hope I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for joining me. All right. Bye.